I'm super tired today. And Saturday morning I got up early to work on the SNES Quest video because I haven't had a chance all week. We've been on 12-hour shifts. I got all our W-2, so I decided to do taxes. And it's my wife's birthday today, so that's why I'm up early trying to record before she wakes up, because I don't want to be working on the SNES Quest when it's her birthday. But I also had to go out and look for a gift for her this week instead of working on the SNES Quest videos. So that's why I'm falling behind. And my wife, she's like the least neediest person ever. Like, that can be a good and bad thing. Good thing because it leaves more money for SNES games, but bad thing because whenever it's a holiday or a birthday, she never knows what she wants. She got on Amazon and couldn't find anything she wanted. So it's up to me to go out and find something to surprise her with. So I go out walking aimlessly around the stores, trying to find something nice for her to buy. So I go over to the perfume section and I start sniffing all these different perfumes, and not cheap ones either. We're talking about like Gucci and stuff like that, because I want to get her something really nice for her birthday. So I start taking all the testers and spraying them and taking a big whiff of them, and I start getting this really bad headache from smelling all these different smells. And I'm like, well, there goes that idea. I look at clothes, I look at shoes, and finally I make my way over to the purses. And I found this really nice looking Michael Kors purse. And she likes smaller purses, and this was a smaller one. So I finally decided to buy that. Anyways, I let her open presents early last night, and when she opens the purse, she's just sitting there with kind of a blank face. She kind of wants to return it because it's too nice. So I ended up failing in the gift department. What do you want from me? But that wasn't the only thing I failed at yesterday. Yesterday I felt like I failed as a person altogether. I had to take my daughter to school yesterday, which is not a normal thing. But yesterday I had to take my daughter to school, and my wife accidentally leaves her phone here at the house when she went to work. So I pick it up, and after I drop my daughter off, it's a straight stretch down the highway from her school down to my wife's work. So I'm headed down the highway, and all of a sudden there's all this traffic that's just getting backed up. There's 3 lanes, but the left 2 lanes are just backed up in traffic. And the right lane is completely open because there's an exit coming up. And man, I just don't have the time to sit in this traffic. So I decided to go off the exit and take the side road all the way down to her work, which is fine, but it's quite a while before this exit, and this right lane is just hauling while all these other cars are backed up in traffic. And as we're getting close to the exit, I watch these 2 cars jet over at the same time and cut people off so they could get back onto the highway and not have to take the exit. And as I watch that, I'm thinking, man, look at these dirty people. They knew what they were doing. They just drove in this lane just to cut everybody off and not have to wait as long. But right as I was about to get to the exit, I saw that the traffic started picking back up again, and it was moving. You weren't gonna be stuck in traffic. So I made the last minute decision to get in front of somebody myself right after I was thinking how dirty those other people were. And then as I did it, I just started laughing uncontrollably because of the evil deed I just committed. So anyways, I hope to be a better person today. And today we have 5 more games that we'll be adding to the collection. Let's check them out. And the first game up is Run Saber. Run Saber was developed by Horisoft and published by Atlas. It released for the Super Nintendo in 1993. Welcome to the dark future of Earth. The last hope of mankind rests in the hands of an elite force of cyborgs codenamed Run Sabers. Created with superior strength, powers, and abilities, these warriors are sent against impossible odds to stop a warped scientist from fouling the entire planet. Join Alan the Thunder Saber and Sheena the Ice Saber on their worldwide quest to stop the super mutant armies and their evil master, Dr. Bruford. Armed with indestructible blades, our heroes delve into a world infested with mutated monstrosities. Run Saber is a fun little platforming game. You play as Alan or Sheena, which each have their own attacks. You have a basic attack, jump attack, ground attack, and a special attack. Alan's special attack is a Thunder Dragon, and Sheena's is an Ice Cyclone. You also have the ability to slide. The graphics in the game look great, and some of the bosses look really cool. The controls are good, but it's easy to get stuck on a wall or ceiling when maneuvering through the level. One other minor complaint is the enemies can pop out of nowhere. That doesn't take much away from the game though. A useful thing they did add in the game is an arrow directing you where to go. If it wasn't there, you could easily go down a hole you weren't supposed to. Finally, there's also an option to change the color of your character in the start menu by hitting the select button. The game is short with only 5 levels, but Run Saber is a fun game still worth playing today. Run Saber is game number 148 for the collection, and it cost me $361 shipped. And at $361, that brings our total up to $26,740 for the SNES Quest. And the next game up is Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball was developed by Iguana Entertainment and published by Acclaim. It released for the SNES in 1995. This is a baseball game that gives you multiple ways to play. You have your standard games, Home Run Derby, and a mode called Clutch Time. In your standard game, pitching, fielding, and batting are set up really nicely. Pitching in this game is different than any other baseball game I've played. You have a ton of different options to choose from. You select the position of your player, where to aim the ball, what type of ball you want to throw like a fastball or knuckleball, the height you want to throw the ball at, and the speed you want to throw. After you select from all these options, the pitcher pitches automatically. Fielding was more in line with other baseball games. Use the D-pad to select the base you want to throw to, along with the B button. Finally, there's batting. It's straightforward and easy to get used to. Home Run Derby is also set up like other games. You just see how many home runs you can knock out of the park. Finally, there's Clutch Time, which gives you a scenario and puts you right in the middle of a game that's already happening. It's an interesting mode. The graphics are fuzzy, none of the players really have any faces, and there's barely any sound while playing. The whole time it just sounds like there's a machine running in the background. Overall, Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball isn't a bad sports game for the system, but there are better baseball games out there. Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball is game number 149 for the collection, and price charting has it at $30. And at $30, that brings our total up to $26,770 for the collection. And the next game up is Chuck Rock. Chuck Rock was developed by Core Design and published by Sony ImageSoft. It released for the Super NES in 1992. Chuck is a dude with a fat belly and big chin. His wife Ophelia was kidnapped by her ex while Chuck was out throwing pebbles. Now Chuck is on a mission to get his wife back from the pebble-chewing wife snatcher Gary Gritter. Since Chuck is a caveman, let me put this into modern terms. Chuck let himself go and his wife ran back to her ex. In this platforming game, you'll make your way through 5 stages, each with multiple levels. Chuck has a few different moves against the enemy he encounters. He can belly bump, jump and kick, and throw rocks at them. He can also use rocks to reach places he couldn't get to otherwise. The biggest problem with the game is the hit detection. It's like you have to hit the enemies at certain angles. If your attack isn't perfect, you'll take damage. Chuck can take multiple hits. You have a heart as a health meter. The more hits you take, the more the heart shrinks. But you can find hearts on your quest to replenish your health. Chuck Rock is an okay game, but it takes a lot of trial and error. I never rescued Chuck's wife because you know Gary already had his way with her. He's better off without her anyway. Chuck Rock is game number 150 for the collection, and price charting has it at $45. And at $45, that brings our total up to $26,815 for the Super Nintendo Complete in Box Quest. And the next game up is NBA Showdown. NBA Showdown was developed and published by Electronic Arts, releasing for the SNES in 1993. EA released this basketball game a year after Bulls vs. Blazers. In my Bulls vs. Blazers review, I talked about how super choppy the frame rate was and how getting past the defense was impossible. They made a lot of improvements with the frame rate in NBA Showdown, but the defense is still a chore to get past in this game. What makes it worse is you can't do anything without the whistle blowing for charging. Try to run the ball to the basket? Charging. Pass the ball and try to shoot it? Charging. Just try to move half the time? Charging. Everything is charging. And it didn't matter if I was in arcade or simulation mode. And I didn't see any options to turn it off. Just look at this, it's so annoying. They move where you move, and if you try to do anything to get past them, that whistle's gonna blow. And how can you call some of these guys professional players when they miss the most basic shots? I'll say this game is better than Bulls vs. Blazers, but I'd still avoid this one. NBA Showdown is game number 151 for the collection, and price charting has it at $17. And at $17, that brings our total up to $26,832 for the collection. Last and definitely not least is Kirby's Dream Course. Kirby's Dream Course was developed by HAL Laboratory and published by Nintendo. It rolled onto store shelves in 1995. This isn't your standard Kirby game. Kirby's Dream Course is a golf game where Kirby is the ball. Long story short, everything is great in Dreamland, and then all the stars disappear. It turns out that King Dedede has stolen the stars, and you must go and get them back to restore peace to Dreamland. Each course has enemies you must take out. When you get down to one enemy left on the screen, they turn into the hole. Some of the enemies can also give Kirby power-ups. They're mostly the same power-ups you'd recognize from other Kirby games, and they really come in handy. Besides power-up, Kirby has all kinds of cool moves he can do. You can do long shots, bounce shots, top and back spins, and curveball spins. You can also give your ball a little boost when hitting the A button at the right time. The controls take some time to get skilled with. You'll be spending a lot of time seeing how your ball reacts in different situations. You have 3 balls for each stage. You also have 4 tomatoes. Every stroke you do takes a tomato. Every enemy you take out gives you a tomato, and when you make it in the hole, you also get a tomato. Once you run out of tomatoes, you lose a ball. And once you lose all 3 balls, it's game over. The visuals are what you'd expect from a quality Kirby game. And can we take a second to appreciate the smooth frame rate? I mean, compare this to all the other golf games we've played so far. Overall, Kirby's Dream Course is a really fun game worth picking up and playing today. Kirby's Dream Course is game number 152 for the collection, and price charting has it at $111. And at $111, that brings our total up to $26,943 for the SNES Quest. Let's get these games on the shelf. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. I'm completing the entire Super Nintendo library, complete in box, right here on this show. Also, make sure to leave a thumbs up for Kirby's Dream Course. Until next time, I'm Gamer Wayne, and thanks for watching.